So there are a lot of great moments in this game. As far as the running game goes, this is one of my favorite plays. Again, running power here, and we get great movement across the line. In particular, this double team from Pullman and Hopkins is just dominant. So you get great displacement out of that. And then you also get great work from the extra blockers coming across in the power, from Snow and CJ here. So they both pick up their assignments well. And you can see Malcolm Brown this time makes a great read on the power run. We give him a seam, and he comes through at full speed. And that creates a tough situation for a safety coming up to fill a play. There's definitely was a wear-down effect from Malcolm Brown on the secondary of their team, and at about this point in the game, you just started to see the gas just kind of go out of their defense, and their ability to come up and physically match us play after play just kind of went away. So here we motion into double tight, and you're going to see us work the quick game again here. Actually, same exact play pretty much that we ran earlier, where we're going to threaten the seams with our tight ends and then work the flats on the out routes. As you can see, what happens is this double tight set, it takes away the defense's ability to cover the flats and to cover the blockers that they have in the box. So as long as we're just pressuring the seams, that's going to hold those flat defenders, and again, we can work the flats. We could have worked either side here. This is a pattern you'll continue to see, and it's the reason why we're developing the quick game, is we want to get the ball in Shipley and Davis's hands underneath and let them make plays in the quick game. Then if the defense wants to come up and pressure us or play man, then that's going to open up the play action game for us. So, it's a little game that we're playing with their coverages, and as long as they're willing to give us that cushion, we know that we can play that off the power running game and use the quick game to pick up easy yards. So here Kansas is bringing edge pressure, and we've got the double screen called. And this is the perfect response to that pressure. So you can see when Fozzie catches that ball, he's got a lot of space to work in. And this is, again, why we're working the screen game. And in particular, getting the ball in the running back's hands as a result of getting that pressure from the outside is really deadly. You can have him stick in the protection, and what Fozzie does a good job of here is selling himself as a protector before he cuts outside. So this defender is already committed. He can't cover the screen pass at that stage. And so, that buys him the space that he wants. And again, like the other components, the base components that we see developing in the Kansas game, I think this is going to be important for us going forward. We're going to see power running game, screen, quick game, and those outside constraints in the power running game all play off each other, and that's going to be the core part of our offense. So here's another wrinkle that we showed versus Kansas that we hadn't seen yet. We're running power read here, but we're running it off of jet action from Monroe. So he's already in motion, and that puts a little bit more pressure on the sweep part of this play. You can see the defender penetrating, makes a tackle on him, but that leaves the defense wide open for the keeper from Ash, and so he's able to gash them for a pretty big gain here. He had a couple keepers that were successful on the power read, but I really like that addition of bringing DJ and Monroe in motion. That, him already running at half speed puts a real inside-outside pressure, adds more pressure on that power read play for the defense. So it'll be interesting to see how defenses cope with that going forward if we continue to bring him in motion like that when we do continue to run this. So if you've been paying attention, you may be able to anticipate where this ball's going just by the defense's alignment here. Again, you see us motioning to double tight. and you see that they're giving a huge cushion to this wide side wide receiver. Snap of the ball, the offensive line is running zone blocking, but we're going to throw a quick pass to Shipley. Basically a quick screen, just get him the ball in space. It's a package play there, and so that's a decision by Ash at the snap of the ball or where he's going to go with that ball. Probably just reading alignment from the defense there. So that's great. You get Shipley the ball in space. He's got a 5-yard cushion when he catches the ball, and he's got plenty of space to the sideline. He's not even to the numbers or anything like that. So, it's going to be 7 or 8 yards every time you do it. A couple plays later, we come back with this jet action again, and this worked well for us all game long. Again, using this inside-out pressure, or actually the end-around action. So we faked this earlier with success, and then we work basically the same play again here. It's inside zone package with that end around. And Brown forensic crease and gets into the second level of the defense. Great cut there by Brown. Let's watch this again. I just want to highlight Trey Hopkins and the job that he does on this play. Watch what he does at the defensive end here. Gets him base blocked and then turns him and then rides him right down the line. That is a beautiful job, and that's really what allows this cut by Malcolm Brown to be so successful and get into the second level of the defense. Also appreciate the finish there by Walters on that play. So we come back to the big set and run power again. Everything on this power play looks beautiful. Particularly, look at the job that Pullman does, again working with Trey Allen. They just dominate their block, create a huge traffic jam, and then see him come off that block and pick up another defender. Just great instincts as a blocker. He's pretty much immediately an asset at tight end, so I'm hoping that we continue to get him majorly involved with our game plans. But you can see this. What happens on this play is that, again, Barry Hill struggles to get to his assignment in space here. It's interesting. He's been so nails the rest of the season in the goal line package, so it's interesting to see him struggle in this game. You can see if he picks up that block, then gets inside leverage, or at least even just gets contact there, then Brown probably has a running lane, and maybe this goes for a touchdown. Hard to say. But with the cutback, then he gets picked up by a defender that is in the wash there. So just to stay with this drive, in the next play we run a quick pass and work the fade to Shipley. This is a perfectly thrown ball from Ash. I really like this throw. It's a jump ball that you hope Shipley will win most of the time. The one thing is here, though, it seems like it would have made more sense to run the out route here. If you look at the space that Shipley was working with, he has all of this room to work the sideline here. And by motioning Grant over, what you're doing is threatening the safety, so you're trying to guarantee that you get that one-on-one between the corner and Shipley. So I feel like the out route would have made more sense here. But maybe they felt like they wouldn't have time to get in the break there. I mean, one thing about the three-step drop there is you can get that fade off and let the ball float to the receiver while he gets deep. Either way, sort of the important highlight there for me is that Ash can throw that ball. That's a great touch ball, probably his best throw of the game in my opinion. It's not an easy ball to throw either. A lot of times with younger quarterbacks with stronger arms, they're going to throw that ball way too strong. They don't know how to put touch on the ball like that. So the fact that we've got that throw in our repertoire is good. You can see Ash's game expanding from week to week. So here's another great moment this game produced. Again, we go wildcat here, and running the same play we've been running all the previous plays as well, just running power here, faking the speed sweep, and then Fozzie's keeping. First of all, watch the block from CJ on this play. It's complete domination, and That's beautiful from him. But what I really love at the end of this play, Foz is a little bit short of the goal line, and David Snow just basically tries to do like an equipment carry into the end zone. You see Cochran sliding in there and trying to make it happen too. So it's just great to see, the change in attitude from, a couple years ago. We got offensive linemen standing around where our quarterback's lying on the ground. Now you see these guys full buy-in on wanting to make every play a success, to the point where they're trying to carry each other across the goal line. So pretty cool. So this is the next drive back on the goal line, and just wanted to look at this interception play. We're running in and out route here. So he's faking the in and then working to the sideline. And then we're working the corners in both cases. So mirrored routes on both sides of the field. Everything sets up pretty well here. Protection is strong. Ash has plenty of time in the pocket. See a nice clean pocket there. Again, I thought our protections were really strong against Kansas. He has a time for a little shoulder fake, but then he waits a little bit too long to get this throw off, and that's what leads to the interception. He really needs to throw this about a half step sooner. The other thing is that he doesn't get quite enough air under the ball, and that's what allows this to be deflected and then intercepted. So he wants to get a little bit more air under that ball and throw it sort of the back corner here rather than as shallow as he is. If he throws that ball off the break and gets a little more air on it, that's perfect. He made the right read here. It's a good, solid decision. Just a little bit poor execution. So, obviously interceptions in the red zone are never a good thing, but an interception that comes from just a bad throw is a lot more forgivable than an interception that comes from a really bad decision. I'm going to fast forward to the second half now and look a little bit at Bergeron and his runs in this game. This first one comes on jet sweep action, similar to the action that Malcolm Brown was getting earlier in the game. So we fake the jet sweep and are running inside zone with it. See, Barrett Matthews does a great job on the edge here. Peyton Kelly gets to the second level at the linebacker, and you can see there's a beautiful running lane here for Bergeron. Pretty much goes untouched until he gets to the safety. Throws a nice stiff arm and gets a few more yards. So this is the very next play, and I like this play. One thing you can see is the wide receiver communicating the blitz. He sees the blitz coming from the edge here, communicates it, and you can see this corner coming in to be the edge player. In some ways, this is Joe Bergeron's best run of the night, in my opinion. We're running power here, and look at his trust in following Trey Allen. He follows right on his inside hip, just like you're supposed to, waits for a seam to develop, and then because Trey Allen makes a great block there, you get a tight seam here. That negates this outside defender, and Bergeron explodes through the seam, comes away almost untouched, and then basically runs himself out of the play. Tried to make a little bit too hard of a cut there, and ball popped out. So a beautiful read in trust in his blocking and running through that gap. This next drive, we open with this fake on the end around again, and Bergeron running the inside zone here. Take a look across the front of the offensive line, how well we're sustaining blocks here. Allen, Espinoza, and Cochran are all staying on their men, well into this play. You can see Cochran working downfield here. And Kansas' front has just had all they can take of our offensive line. None of their players are coming off blocks at this stage in the game. This is a really nice example of inside zone. Just want to watch the blocking in the front here. First, let's pay attention to Mason Walters and his matchup with the defensive tackle with the nose here. Nose tries to jump against the grain here, and you can see Walters uses a club technique here with his backside arm. Basically, what he's trying to do there is make sure that the nose can't slip past him. But still, his main intent is to get his hat to the play side of this defensive tackle. He knows once he gets his helmet on that shoulder pad, he can control the block. And so he does a great job here. Once he gets his helmet placement, then you watch him swivel his feet and create a seal. So that's a really great job in terms of creating your initial contact, controlling that initial contact, and making sure you don't lose control of the defender, and then using footwork to create the seal rather than just trying to overpower. So that's definitely a step forward. Walters is a guy at times who sometimes arrives with a little bit too much aggression and not enough control in that initial contact, and at times this year he's gotten thrown off of blocks as a result of that. Here he shows a little bit of contact and then is able to create the control that he wants on the play. The other thing I like about this play is the combo work between Trey Allen and Cochran up here. You see Cochran, they combo, they get the work done they need to, and then Cochran's immediately looking for who else do I need to get a hat on, so he breaks outside and gets a hit on the end as well. Inside zone is designed to go to this play side A gap or B gap, depending on how the alignment of the defensive line. And that's where Bergeron goes with this play. And because of that seal that was created by Walters, he's got a nice running lane here. And he's able to break through the initial line of the defense and pick up some yards. Like I said, none of the defenders in the front are coming off blocks at this point, so those blocks are there for him for a long period of time. He has a chance to pick his running lane. So we'll look at one final play here. Again, we've got all of our strength to the short side of the field here. The tight end, the offset, fullback, and the twins. We run power again to this side to overload the defense. You can see the defensive line here is basically content to just lock up with the man in front of them and play chicken a little bit, which they lose for the most part. So good blocking across the front here, but Bergeron really makes the most of this play. What he really does great on power is follow this lead puller, and he hugs that inside hip of that lead puller, and that sets up the block for the lead puller as well. And then he just makes a great cut here through the hole, kind of makes his own hole. And you definitely can't deny that Bergeron looks like he's got something special in the open field. You also get a feel for his ability to burst in the open field here, right here at the end of this play. You get the feeling that he can open things up pretty quickly when he gets out past that first line of defenders. So certainly never bad to have another tool on offense, and hopefully we'll see a fair amount of him this weekend against Texas Tech as well.